Hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 3 Remastered. This is 115 speaking, and let me officially welcome you to the Caves of Kaliya. Now I figure out finally what Kaliya is. It's apparently the name of a giant serpent that the Indian god Krishna fought a long time ago. Another sort of earth-shattering and earth-creating event. A very popular god fighting off a giant serpent. Why is that very familiar across every other mythology out there? It's interesting how all these corners of the world have exactly the same motifs. Now, in today's level, we will find no secrets. You heard me correctly, that's the reason why we unlock Codex of India in the previous River Ganges level. However, we will get our hands on 2 crystals, 10 other goodies, and land 15 kills, including the final boss, okay? Now, there are no breakable objects in this level. Again, so far Tomb Raider 3 has been rather underwhelming when it comes to breakables, but what we will get are 3 achievements. 1, the Infada artifact for getting our hands on the final pickup and beating the Indian chapter of the game. That's essentially the artifact Lara came here to get. But there are 2 way more interesting ones. There's an achievement called Snake Charming, which asks us to find all cobras in the level. And again, this is where achievement descriptions annoy me to no end, because the achievement is not actually gotten for finding the snakes, you get it for killing all the snakes. There are 14. So other than the final boss, every single enemy you're gonna find here is a snake. Now guys, seriously, if you are afraid of snakes, even in media like this, maybe do not watch the whole episode, okay? Because this is one giant snake fest, and also this has a trap, which is essentially, honestly, my father's worst nightmare coming real. If you are not afraid of snakes, or at least don't have trouble seeing them in a sort of cartoony looking video game like this, then I think you're gonna be fine, okay? So, we're gonna have lots of fun snake hunting in this level, and also, there's an achievement called Crushing Krishna. I love that name, and it's a reference to Krishna who fought the snake Kaliya, hence the Caves of Kaliya and Crushing Krishna achievement. It asks us to defeat Tony, yep, we're finally gonna catch up with him, with a grenade launcher. Now, if you're wondering how we're supposed to do that when we don't have the grenade launcher, have no fear, it's lying right next to him. The trick will be to pick it up and actually hit the guy with this blasted weapon. Grenade launcher in Tomb Raider 3 is just a worthless piece of junk, but more about that later. What I'd also like to put on the screen right now is a map of the Caves of Kaliya. Now, there are a couple of levels to this level, and we're going to be descending deeper and deeper and deeper, and what I'm essentially showing you here is sort of where we begin and where we can find the individual goodies and snakes. Just briefly seeing this layout, it's actually from the official Tomb Raider map book from the deluxe Switch version of Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3 Remastered. Seeing this kind of layout should help you navigate more easily, right? At least seeing it once will make things, I think, fairly easier to understand. But back to the action. So guys, going to the right path over here will allow us to continue the level and descend deeper, but before that we want to kill 1 snake in this level and get our hands on 2 goodies. Now the way we're gonna do that is essentially, there are also, to make things a bit more confusing, a couple of crawl spaces, okay? Okay, Miss Croft, you got this. Now, around the corner over here, you can at least see it lying. It's not gonna just spawn cheaply, like in the River Ganges level. Wonderful. Only 13 more to go. But don't worry, the final cluster of 10 snakes will be really close together, so it's not gonna take as long as you might think. Now, around the corner over here, we want to get our hands on some sweet Uzi clips, if I'm not mistaken. And usually my memory is sound. Wonderful. And now we'll go through a bit of a detour just to get our hands on some flares, okay? Now you can actually take a shortcut in case you're doing your I only play for sport always achievement, and this will take you much further down the level. However, you will miss out on a box of flares that should be very nearby. Now actually, yeah, that should be it. Now, I could have just rolled through here, but for some reason I decided to take it the old-fashioned way, you know? I feel like we've been rolling around so much in the River Ganges, I wanted to give us a taste of what it used to be like. You know, back in the good old days, when you couldn't understand or see anything and everything took forever. Those kinds of days. Okie dokie. So, guys, the first level that we entered from is now cleared. The 2 goodies and 1 kill are ours. Now, what we gotta do is just go all the way back and take it from here and try to avoid a particularly nasty double boulder trap. Now, you know how usually rolling from crawl stops Lara when she reaches a ledge? That doesn't apply when it comes to slippery slopes. She'll immediately transition into a slide like this, okay? But this is an easy trap to avoid. What will be a problem is the one around the corner, because you need to get really close to trigger it. Whoa! Ah, that worked out quite well, dare I say so myself? Awesome. And on to the next level. Now this one is visually far more interesting. Lots of rocks and masonry around. But if you want all the snake kills and the snake charming achievement, then just go to the left. Okay, that's the second cobra down. There's another cobra and 2 goodies on this level. Now this level is wide and sprawling, but I'm only gonna take you to areas where there's something and not pointlessly show you just mazes of empty corridors to confuse you further, okay? So you enter this level, to the left is a snake, to the very right are shotgun shells. Now keeping to the overall right side, going up and then further right, you will see a corridor with a small medpack and another cobra. Wonderful. And that's it for this level. Now we just need to get out. The good thing is that we will approach this movable block. We can absolutely get it out of the way. And it essentially blocks this crossroads. This is where we entered from, and this entire left part of this level of the maze is sprawling, huge and pointless. Only empty corridors that way. Where we need to go is this way. So to the right as we entered, or to the north depending how you look at it. You know, this is one of the few scenarios where Tomb Raider 1's compass would have been incredibly useful, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. Okay. And now, I'm gonna do my best to not get lost in this part of the maze, because this one visually looks identical to the first one, which does not make me happy at all. Okay, let's just scroll climb and go through here. Now, if I remember correctly, and I think I usually do, if you want to continue the level, you should go left. However, if you do want to land a cobra kill, you should go like this. You can avoid crawling altogether through here. And there it already is. Just this piece of of brown rope. Awesome. Now that's 4 cobras down. We still have a box of flares and a crystal to get our thieving little Tomb Raider hands on, and that should be right here. When you start descending down like this, that's a good sign that you're on your way to progress, okay? Awesome. A box of flares, and now a crystal. Now if you want to pick up this crystal, you need to either just fall down normally, you cannot do a safety drop, or you can jump above the pit. However, doing even a normal safety drop will result in you taking roughly 1/5 of Lara's health bar in damage, which is why I'm gonna do a crawl safety drop to preserve that health. But also, I'd like to get a crystal. So first of all, let me light up a flare here. I'm gonna show you 2 different ways you can overcome the scariest trap of Tomb Raider franchise. Alrighty. Now, Miss Croft, go forward. Okay, snakes everywhere. Now the idea is that you outrun them, and you sprint, and you sprint, and you transition into a crawl. Whoa! And avoid the boulder at the very end. Now, you guys probably understand why this trap is so utterly terrifying, okay? We did not even get bitten, which is awesome, but we have some snake charming to do. Okay, so again, like this, and do the crawl forward safety drop. You are gonna conserve a lot of health. Awesome, and being in complete middle, you are safe from all 4 cobras, which is awesome. And you might have noticed that the boulder didn't start rolling yet, which is really interesting. The reason is that the boulder triggers at this tile, okay? So you can just sort of side flip and let it roll. Okay, more snakes to deal with. There are 10 in this entire snake trap, which is absolutely insane. Alrighty. Making slow, systemic progress. Now, guys, like I said, if you are afraid of snakes, this might be a reason to not watch the whole video. This stuff can give people like that nightmares. It kind of makes... I imagine it makes you feel like going through the spider's nest in Temple of Xi'an did make me feel. So snake charming, find all cobras in the caves of Kaliya level. One important detail they omitted is, again, you're supposed to kill them, not just find them. Why wouldn't they mention that in the achievement description? I don't know. Anywho, we're well on our way, so we have 2 more achievements remaining, one just for beating the level, and the other one for killing Tony as the final boss with a grenade launcher. So that's gonna be really interesting. Depending on how that will go, I might actually give us 2 boss fights, we'll see. Because I'd love to use shotgun for this, it's a much better weapon. Now, let me just make sure that we have the boss health bar enabled. Wonderful, good. This is after the patch, probably one of the first few instances where you realize, hold on a sec, why aren't there boss health bars? That's because of the patch. Okie dokie, guys, so I'm gonna try and show you how to get the Crushing Krishna achievement and finish Tony the Loon with a grenade launcher. There he is, laughing like a complete nincompoop. Now, what I wanted to also do is just to take a picture of this guy, but you know what? I'm probably gonna do it in better lighting conditions. First of all, notice how the entire cavern is filled with water and quite deep. And now, watch what happens. With a swoosh of his arms, Tony just turned the whole place into a shallow pool of lava. Now that is impressive, look at him floating there. We are absolutely taking a picture of him. And also in the OG graphics, because the lighting conditions are better, we can actually see what's around. So this is what I said when I mentioned the Infada artifact being stuck in his chest, similar to one of the researchers in the temple ruins. And I think Tony killed that guy to get the Infada artifact of him. And now, something happened, and he's not only able to summon earthquakes, but also lots of fire. Now, for the purposes of the Crushing Krishna achievement, this is very important. You do need to get your hands on the grenade launcher over here, and this must be the only weapon you'll deal damage with him. Softening him up with pistols or shotgun and then delivering the killing blow with the grenade launcher will not work. Grenade launcher is the only weapon you can damage this guy with if you want to unlock the achievement, okay? Very important to keep in mind. And this is easier said than done. Oh my god. See what I mean? So rather than shooting us with fireballs, Tony will essentially either bounce them off this ceiling or the walls behind us, and then they'll branch out into random clusters of fire. And if one of them just hits you gently, Lara is set on fire, and it's the end of that. Now you can absolutely continue the fight whilst popping medpacks and wear him down, then quickly pick up the Infada artifact he drops and beat the level whilst on fire, or we can actually do this properly and reload. Anywho guys, so I just wanted to explain the strategy and take a picture of Tony. Now let's see how I'll do when I'll be less distracted. Alrighty, Tony, you buffoon. One thing I want to show you, he is actually invincible before he does this. And now you can deal damage to him, okay? Just wanted to show you that so that you don't waste any ammo. Now, depending on how brave or lucky you feel, you can absolutely ignore the grenades pickup on the side over here, but I would not recommend it. Lara is extremely likely to miss with that grenade launcher. It was nerfed heavily, as opposed to Tomb Raider 2. Oh, fire, fire! Oh my god, that was close. Okay, now, like we learned already, number 7 on the keyboard is not the grenade launcher, it is now number 8. Now, the way to hit him, or at least have the best chance of hitting him... Oh my god, you know what? Let's finish him off whilst we're on fire. We're gonna do this like an absolute badass. Hahaha! Krishna Crushing defeat Tony using a grenade launcher. You know what, guys? I accept that. We are on fire. Okay. Lara, on the other hand, did not accept that. Now let me actually show you, now that this nonsense is wrapped up, sort of a good and reliable way to take Tony down using our shotgun. Alrighty then, here we go. Now remember, he's invincible, don't waste your ammo until he performs this magical trick. Isn't this just so much better? I think it is. Who needs grenade launcher? Seriously. And that, my friends, is how you actually deal with Tony. Now, to be fair, the Crushing Krishna achievement is considered a silver trophy on PS4 and PS5, so that's at least a small consolation prize. Now, the huge difference between the grenade launcher here and in Tomb Raider 2 is not just the key binding, that they moved it to number 8, but also the fact that Lara no longer shoots grenades in a forward trajectory. She lobs them instead, which is more realistic but makes it so difficult to hit anything even 1 square away from Lara. So I only recommend using it totally up close, okay? When the enemy is essentially inside you. That's when grenade launcher is best used. Otherwise, not so much. One other thing is the grenade launcher's design. They carried over the same design from Tomb Raider 2, which back in Tomb Raider 2 this looked great. But look at the Tomb Raider 3 one. Again, it has this 6-shooter cylinder. Now, I'm not sure if that's a realistic design or if it's just a fiction, and maybe that's why they decided to remove it. But again, just like the unique shotgun of Tomb Raider 3, they just decided to carry over the Tomb Raider 1's model. And just like the unique grenade launcher of Tomb Raider 3, they decided to carry over the Tomb Raider 2 model, which is so disappointing to me. This makes Lara's arsenal just feel so much less varied, right? But there you have it. It is still exactly as bad of a weapon as we remember from the original Tomb Raider 3, so do not worry. Okay guys, now let's finally get the prize, because Lara has been patiently and systematically working her way for the Infada artifact. And this, my friends, is also the final pickup of this level. So in case you open the stat screen and you see, oh no, we're still missing a pickup, this is it. So let me make a save here, and let's finish the India chapter and learn what's actually going on with all these crazy researchers. On to you, Lara, my dear.
I don't want to be misrepresented by that retarded researcher you've just been with.
Lara.
I'm Dr. Willard. I'd come to converse with Tony myself, but I saw you were doing a rather more creditable job, I think. Indeed, I'm inspired. I'd like to offer you other work.
What? Shoot the breeze with some of your other boys? No thanks.
Fortunately, they were the only lab rats we let loose into the field. No. My request is for 3 other artifacts like this.
The Infada tribe only had 1 artifact of this type. It's unique. Anyway, what would your interest in it be?
I'll show you. It's not from India, rather an island near Antarctica. It is in fact meteorite rock that has been fashioned and used by Polynesians who were once settled there many, many years ago. See that? That's unique, an unknown material.
So how did it end up here?
Formed from the planets, sculpted by Polynesians, distributed by goons. Our excavations and investigations have led us to this. A sailor's diary from Charles Darwin's expedition on the HMS Beagle.
August 14th, 1834.
This voyage is getting too boring for me to go on with this journal. Me adventures at sea are an embarrassment. The only tales I'll have to tell are hours of bird watching, picking and pressing flowers, following them blasphemous ideas of the governor, Darwin. But this don't even concern me now. I just want food. Something more than vegetable broth in me. Today we 5 have made a pact. The only sampling we're going to be doing is for meat. Pure, solid, blood-rich meat.
The snow's run out. The tracks have gone.
Just keep going. We're on its trail. There's something here.
Look, another one. What do you reckon they're worth then? Too late. There's only 4. None for you.
Oh.
Nobody better say nothing about this to the governor, else we'll be back having to hunt down that creature for his samples. Paul fell down a crevasse, okay?
Okay, Stephen.
Amen. Stephen was to be the only survivor of the 4. When he arrived back in London, he superstitiously sold off his artifact, having seen his pals murdered or killed with theirs. One here in India, one in the South Pacific, and one in Nevada. The places where I'd like you to go.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me. Lara, you might come to regret those words. Anywho, we unlocked Infada Stone for finishing the India chapter. So guys, this was such a huge step forward in terms of how the FMV cutscenes look. I mean, this really was a marvel to look at back in the day. Especially if you compare it to more of the rougher FMVs from Tomb Raider 1. This was just 3 years difference, but it made huge impact on how the FMVs looked, in my opinion. Tomb Raider 3's FMVs are just gorgeous, and it's actually gonna get better in Tomb Raider 4 and 5. Now, one thing I'd like to talk about is that I remember when me and my brother finally finished off Tony, we struggled a lot. And then the FMV started playing, and the first thing I would see was a steamboat in a jungle, and this was around the time the LEGO Adventurers were out. You can imagine how excited I was. But anywho, as it pertains to the plot, I love the fact that Tony's boss just referred to him as a retarded researcher. I mean, that's just... the guy has a way with words. You can already tell he's gonna be trouble. So Dr. Willard hired us to follow the steps of 4 sailors. Well, actually, we already did that once. 3 other sailors and get the artifacts that they collected from that Antarctica cave. I love the description that it was formed by the planets, carved by the Polynesians, distributed by goons. Very apt description. Now, one thing I teased at the very end was that this is where Tomb Raider 3 will properly open up, unlike any other game. And I'm gonna show that to you in a second. First of all, I'd just like to celebrate the fact that we found all 2 crystals, got our hands on all 10 goodies, and landed all 15 kills, and unlocked all 3 achievements. Secrets found will just give you the hyphen over there. They will not even say secrets none. They wanted to differentiate it somehow with how it would display things if you were to find 0 secrets, but there are some. But there are in fact no secrets in Caves of Kaliya, hence we unlocked Codex of India already in the previous level. Now, with the magical press of a button, we'll be taken to one of the most exciting things of Tomb Raider 3, the globe screen. Now, in the original, this was really cool and mind-blowing to me. We could see the South Pacific Islands. I actually had no idea what South Pacific even is back then. London, which is where I was excited to go, and Nevada. Also, as a little kid, I had no bloody clue what Nevada is. Hey, I was really little back then. Now, where I wanted to go was London, and boy, did I regret it. What's really cool is that you get to choose your own adventure. In a sense, you will choose the order in which you'll tackle different chapters. Think of India as the introduction chapter, and you can tackle the remaining chapters in any order you see fit. However, where the original Tomb Raider 3 really messed things up was, well, exactly the globe screen. because you don't really have a choice. You have to take Nevada first, unless in the very grand finale, the final chapter of the game, which will be Antarctica, you will find yourself severely lacking ammunition and also a weapon, right? Because there is a level at the beginning of which you are gonna lose your entire inventory. Now, things are a bit different and improved in the remasters. Rather than losing your entire inventory, you are gonna re-pick it up later on in a following Nevada level. So you are technically not gonna lose anything, but guys, I wanna test this out thoroughly. Because not only will our inventory reset and we'll get an opportunity to re-pick up some of the ammo later on, but I need to make very sure that we'll get exactly what we missed, okay? So I have yet to do the actual math of how much stuff we are going to recover in Nevada when that point happens, but I'm also led to believe this will not be the case in New Game Plus. But at least on the normal difficulty, it seems the remasters finally offer you a way to tackle this in any order and not have regrets about doing Nevada last. I did one such playthrough just for myself to see how it was. It was not more challenging, it was just more boring having less tools at your disposal. I really do not recommend it. But as my original playthrough from 2017 started with Nevada, I'm gonna do the same here and also for New Game Plus, just to not confuse you guys further, okay? Also, I really believe doing Nevada, then South Pacific and then London levels is the ideal difficulty curve, okay? Because this way you are gonna start with the easier levels and gradually move on to hard levels and then tough as nails levels. London is the toughest. I would say it's even harder than Antarctica, honestly. But that's enough for now, guys. Thank you so much for being with me. And you know what? Before we'll move on to Nevada and start our new adventure there, I would really like to thank my amazing patrons. Blangupel, Mick, Severin Drax, Enstickle, KT Danger, and Pooh the 2, thank you guys so much for being my Winstons and for treating us to some delicious and well-earned refreshment on board of Dr. Villet's steamboat. I would like to say big thanks to my caretaker Winstons, Michael McConkey and Karavetu. Thank you guys so much for your support and also for biting down with your prosthetic teeth to suck the cobra poison right out of Lara's limbs. You saved her life. I would also like to give special thanks to my veteran Winstons, Andrea Pavelianity and Alexander. Thank you guys so much for your support of the channel and also for setting up a grenade launcher right next to Tony, allowing Lara versus Tony being sort of a historical reenactment of the fight between the god Krishna and the giant snake Kaliya. In this case, Lara versus Tony the Loon. And finally, I would like to give a very special thanks to my one and only fine vintage Winston, Akira Foxmind. Thank you so much for your generous support of the channel and also for cooling Lara down from Tony's vicious flames and essentially for freezing him stuck firmly in one place, making him a much easier target for our grenade launcher. Thanks to you, we have unlocked Krishna Crushin achievement. Thank you for your support and enjoy your vacation in Japan. And on a final note, I'd like to thank my free Patreon members as well as to you guys for watching and also for being patient. Despite the fact that this was a much shorter video than they usually are, it took me still a very long time to pull off for one simple reason. I am putting most of my time to a special Christmas project. Come December 1st, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. I hope your patience will be well paid off with that project. It is not Tomb Raider related at all. Nevertheless, I think if you like Tomb Raiders, you will also like what I'm working on. And at the same time, I will of course try my very best to maintain a weekly rate of Tomb Raider uploads. Okay, so thank you for bearing with this decreased rate of videos. And in case you guys want to support me further, feel free to check out my Patreon. You can join either as a free member or become one of my Winstons, in which case I'll give you a shout out in each of my videos, also allowing me to spend more time making these videos, which is kind of a dream coming true really, and incredible that I already have so many awesome supporters. So thank you again for your patience, and I'll see you next time in the Nevada desert.